Could you be unknowingly sabotaging love? The keys to lasting relationships are hidden in both your mind and the laws of the universe.
We're going live.
We'll do it live.
This is the Come On Man podcast. And here's your host, Paul Bauer.
What's going on, guys? It is Woo Woo Wednesday, and we are getting back into the woo woo this week. Today should be an interesting experiment because I watched a video because I noticed that my views have been abysmally low lately. And I watched a video saying that if you don't share your links for the first week, then YouTube's algorithm has a chance to do its magic. And so I was like, I'm not supposed to share my links to my social media. All right, fine. Then I looked at it and I was like, social media only gives me about, I think like 2% of my traffic anyway. So, all right, fine. I'll tell people that there's a show. I'll put out a thumbnail, but you're gonna have to come and find the show. You guys know how to find the show. So I figured, whatever, let's do it. Let's try it. Let's try this. Let's experiment here. So we've been doing the Woo Woo Wednesdays for the last 10 weeks about my book. It didn't feel very woo woo, right? Because the focus was on paradigms and having more of a dominant masculine presence, right? But that still does fit in line with what I like to talk about on Woo Woo Wednesdays, which is really, what we're doing here, especially with law of attraction and the other laws of the universe, right? It's getting in alignment with our goals and aspirations at a subconscious level, right? It's not really magic. It's just fun. Like talking about it like it's magic is fun. Now, some believe that our subconscious mind is our gateway to infinite intelligence. Some call it infinite intelligence. Some call it God. Some call it the universe. Some just call it your higher consciousness. Call it whatever you want. It all works the same. It doesn't really matter. It really doesn't. So there's this belief in Hermetic philosophy that the all is mind. The universe is mental, right? The universe itself is mental. And that's the universal law of mentalism. And basically what that means, right? When they say the all, they are literally talking about everything, the very universe itself and everything in it. This is the law of mentalism. So there's also the law of correspondence, as above, so below. As the greater universe itself is basically a giant mind construct, according to the Hermeticists anyway, that basically means that your mind is a tiny universe, okay? And your tiny universe is connected to the larger universe, and that gateway is your subconscious mind. So we're going to look at all this today and how it works in our relationships, okay? So I got the idea for this after reading The Power of the Subconscious Mind by Dr. Joseph Murphy. And he had a whole chapter on the subconscious mind and how we show up in our relationships. I was like, this is going to be perfect, right? So I thought I'd take his concepts and expand on it and how it fits into the 7 Hermetic principles of the universe. But before we get into that, before we go too far into the woo-woo, do like, subscribe, hit those notifications. I have new episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And Wednesdays are Woo Woo Wednesdays, where we sort of get into law of attraction, spirituality, our subconscious programming, and all that kind of fun stuff. Drop a comment if you guys are watching live right now. Sound off, okay? Hopefully, some of you guys have the day off and you have some time to chill on the couch and watch this. Tomorrow's Thanksgiving, after all. So I want to hear from you. And if you have any questions, do try to send those as super chats and support the show. I know you guys have the money to be sending $500 super chats. I don't happen to look like Melanie Mack, though, and I realize that. So in exchange for higher level super chats, I have 2 new videos. I debuted a new bouncing blubs video on Monday for $10 super chats. And then the $20 super chats is still the shaking booty video. And if you're a beer club brother, whatever you put in automatically boosts you to that next level. Okay. You guys know that. I see Brother David in the house here. Brother David, you didn't get to watch the new Bouncing Blubs video live last time. So consider sending a ducat or two. Okay. All right. So first thing we're going to talk about is the power of the subconscious mind, which for the last several weeks, we've been talking about that, right? But the subconscious mind, we're going to talk about it as the source of habitual thoughts and beliefs that shape our relationships. Okay. We have paradigms around our relationships, don't we? A lot of us have unhealthy paradigms around our relationships. A lot of that is programmed from what we see our parents doing, how you saw your parents show up in relationship, right? My parents growing up, well, still to this day, my dad was always the passive guy, and my mom was always nagging him and harping on him on stuff. And, you know, he's basically the browbeaten plow horse kind of guy. And I thought, yeah, this is just how a relationship is, right? So I got into my marriage, and I got into that complacency, and then my wife became a nagging biznatch, and I was like, yeah, this is just life. You're supposed to get married and become miserable, right? That's what you're supposed to do. How many of you guys out there have that mentality, or at least had that mentality at one point, right? Like, yeah, we're all supposed to do this. You get married, it's fun in the beginning, you have some kids, it all goes downhill from there, and then your life is just a monumental suck fest, right? Right? No, it doesn't have to be that way, okay? But that's sort of programmed into us, and society programs that into us. Fathers on TV are made to look like fools and browbeaten, you know, plow horses and dumbasses that are just comic relief for the almighty, all smart wives that are out there. But you can reprogram that, right? You can change that in a different way. So some of the techniques that I like are using affirmations and visualization to create mental harmony. And you could do this before you even get married, right? If you're out on the dating circuit, you can do this to attract better women into your life. I see so many guys that, man, I was just having a DM conversation with a guy yesterday. He's in his 50s. I think I don't know if he tried getting married twice or whatever. I can't remember, but he's basically single now in his 50s, and he's just struggling to find a good woman. And because he ends up dating women that are in their 30s and 40s, because he's in his 50s, it's pretty common. And most women in their 30s and 40s are probably divorcees of themselves, and they probably have kids. And so you're sort of stuck with the single mother pool when the older you get in life, right? Because a lot of people have had kids by that point. And it's like the women that you run into, if they haven't had kids, it's almost a red flag. Like, what's wrong with you, lady? Like you couldn't lock down a decent guy to have kids with when you were fertile, right? It's just, I mean, people have different reasons for whatever they do, but it's almost like I always questioned that when I was out on the dating circuit. I was like, wait a second, like why weren't you able to at least lock down a guy for kids yet, right? And so this guy's like, I don't know, I'm basically giving up on being able to find a good woman, like and I'm like, there's still good women out there, right? And it doesn't matter if they were married before, if they've had kids before. I don't buy all that nonsense about single moms and all because there's different. If you have good boundaries, if you can lead relationships well, if you leave the kids out of the relationship, there's no reason why you can't have a good relationship with a good woman, right? And if you have good frame and you set the tone and lead well, that woman's going to make the relationship, or put the relationship first, right? Because that's the key to a healthy relationship. A lot of people are like, well, kids come first. It's like, no, in a healthy, loving relationship, the relationship comes first. The kids will take care of themselves. You know what I mean? And if you show that in a relationship, then the kids see what a healthy relationship looks like, And then they grow up and they have healthy relationships, and it snowballs from there, and you make the world a better place, right? So you can do this when you're out on the dating circuit to attract better women. And when I say attract, right, it's not magic. Basically, what you're doing is you're using the reticular activating system in your mind. It's a feature, right, where you get what you focus on. If you put a lot of focus, and I'm talking about subconscious focus, right, you basically convince your subconscious mind what's important to you, your brain starts pointing things out to you, right? But most of us are focused on the toxic, negative women out there. And so all we see are these toxic broads out here, right? And we're like, we can't find any good women. There's no good women. Well, if you keep saying that, all you're going to see are bad women, right? But if you tell yourself, no, there's lots of good women out here, there's lots of good women, you're going to start seeing them more, right? So you can do this through affirmations, right? So you can use affirmations like this. I am deserving of a loving and harmonious relationship. I am open to receiving the love, respect, and connection I truly deserve. I am grateful for the kind, loving, and supportive woman who enhances my life every day. My relationship is filled with love, harmony, and mutual appreciation, and I cherish every moment we share. I feel deeply loved and respected by my amazing girlfriend or wife, and our connection grows stronger each day. The woman in my life is everything I've ever desired, and together we create a beautiful and fulfilling future. Now, we're reading these in the present tense as if it's already happened, right? So obviously it hasn't happened yet. You're trying to attract this girl, but you want to read it in the present tense and convince yourself that it's already happened, right? Because if you do that, your mind believes it's true, it's going to make it true, okay? It's going to start seeking out women that fit this description, and you're going to start seeing more of these, okay? Now, in my book, my first book, where is it here? My first book, Everything I Wish I Knew When I Was 18, I talk about the contenders list. And this is something that I learned from Coach Corey Wayne. Dr. Glover also talks about it in Dating Essentials for Men. But if you want to write out a list of all the qualities you want in a woman, okay? And obviously, you can put some physical qualities in there, right? Maybe you prefer brunettes. Maybe you like big, badonks, right? Maybe she's got to have a perfect hourglass figure, like whatever you want. That's all great, but all that kind of stuff fades over time. So if your goal is some kind of long-term committed relationship, like that can't be your primary focus. I mean, it's good to be able to put that in there, but what you really want is the qualities that you want in a healthy relationship. A woman that is kind and nurturing, that supports your mission, right? She's, she speaks to you with respect, right? She had a good upbringing. She, all these kinds of qualities, these are what you want to focus on. All the things that you want, not what you don't want, but you still want to list out qualities that you don't want, because those end up being your red flags. Those end up being your red and yellow flags. As you're out in the dating circuit, you notice something that you put down on your will not tolerate list. She's immediately done, right? She's immediately done. If she's got anything that's in the yellow flags list, she can't be a contender for a long-term relationship. This will prevent you from getting into the wrong relationships. You understand? You can still spin them as plates, but you just don't want to do anything committed with these types of women. But you don't want to focus on that stuff, right? It's good to know it, but you want to focus on the things that you absolutely want. Because if you focus on the positives, on the things you actually want, that's what's going to start showing up for you. That's what you're going to start noticing around you. And the thing is that your brain really doesn't know the difference between positive and negative. So if you're really focusing on the stuff you don't want, all your brain sees is that stuff. And that's what's going to start showing up for you more. So you want to focus on the kind of girls that you want, that you actually want, right? So that's your contenders list. Let me show you see if I can find it here. I put that at the beginning of the long-term relationship chapter, because it only really matters if you're the kind of guy that wants to get into a long-term committed relationship, which I venture to say most guys do. But, some guys just want to be plate spinners for the rest of their life. Like, no judgment, go do that, right? My book will help you with that too. But this is what I have for the contenders list, right? the wants, and then those ones that I have highlighted, the yellows, the ones that I have highlighted there, those are must-haves, right? If she doesn't have those items that are highlighted in yellow, she can't be a contender, okay? And then same thing with the ones that I have highlighted in blue, right? If anything's highlighted in blue, she's done. Like we can't, I won't even spin her as a plate. I won't even spin her as a plate, right? So that's how you're going to find your red flags, your green flags, and your yellow flags, right? The other thing that I have on here that really goes in line with laws of the universe is writing a love letter to your future girlfriend in the present tense. This sort of is in line with the technique of scripting, right? There's a whole thing of journaling and scripting that you can do to help really get your mind in alignment. I've been doing that on a daily basis. My coach, Nikki, he has me for 10 minutes every morning, scripting out how I want my life to be, right? And in the present tense, like I'm so grateful now that like it's already happened. And I just sit there for 10 minutes in the morning. I set a timer and I write this all out. And it really is a fun exercise because I sit there and just flow, just as I'm going through and I'm writing out how I feel about this stuff and what I like about it and why I'm so grateful for it and all that kind of stuff. And the thing is, as you're doing that, as you're writing this out, it's almost like writing a story. You're imagining this stuff, right? Have you ever written out a story? Like you start seeing it in your head, right? Well, that helps you with visualization. All that kind of stuff really makes it real. And your subconscious starts believing that sort of thing, right? So you could do the same thing if you're trying to attract a good woman in your life by writing out a love letter to her, right? And really get into the emotion of it. Like, why do you love this woman? And really picture yourself with her and all the nice things she's doing for you. And you're going to start seeing women that sort of fit this description. And as you're going out dating, you're testing for interest. You're testing for their ability to follow your lead. Some women won't be interested. Some women won't follow your lead. But the ones that do, you're going to notice, man, this chick looks a lot like the chick I imagined when I wrote out that love letter, right? If you go back, right? I don't share this with anybody. It's private, right? But if I go back and look at my list, my contenders list from when I met Nurse Chick matches every single thing on the wants list. Everything. A lot of guys, in beer club, a lot of guys in the 3% Brotherhood, they'll be like, oh yeah, I know this girl. She checks off a lot of my things, right? Oh, she checks off a lot of my things. Nurse Chick checks off every single one. It's fascinating. Already. So if you're already in a relationship, how does this work, right? So here's the thing. Attraction is not a choice. Okay. Attraction is not a choice. You're into what you're into. Same with your wife. That's why when she starts dressing frumpy and she lets herself go and starts getting fat, starts putting her hair up in the messy buns and starts putting on the ugly glasses and stuff like that, and just basically stops caring about her appearance, you start being more turned off, right? Well, the same thing happens with you. You start dressing more comfortable. You stop taking care of your fitness and you let yourself go and you start getting fat, right? Maybe you start balding, okay? And then you keep the ugly ass like side hair because that's the last little bit and you're just holding on to that. Instead of just shaving it off, which is a more attractive look. If you ever read the book Atomic Attraction, they did studies on this where guys who are balding, if they just shaved it off, like women actually found the clean shaven look more attractive, right? So it's like, just own that stuff, because the guys who just own it, they're more confident about it. Now I get like the trolls on YouTube all the time. They're always like they just like to make bald comments, but that clearly shows that they're more insecure about my bald head than I am. Like, I own this stuff, man. Like, you don't think I know I'm bald? I have to shave this thing every day. It takes work to do this. It takes work to do this. Anyway, so attraction is not a choice, but love is. So if you've been finding yourself more resentful of your wife lately, right? You've been more resentful of your wife lately. You're tired of her shit. You know that she's going to be a naggy woman and all this kind of stuff. And then you hate this and you just don't like being around her anymore. You can actually change that, right? You can actually change that. You can literally change that by affirmations. Okay. If you want her to, or if you want to start treating her better, okay, because you really do love her, like deep down you love her. Okay. I'm saying, well, if you do, like, maybe you don't like her anymore, whatever. That's can't help you. But if you, let's say deep down you love her, you've just been really resentful of her lately, but you want to turn things around because you notice that your relationship's on the rocks. Okay. Start telling yourself this every day. Okay. I got some affirmations here. I am deeply grateful for the love, kindness, and support my wife brings into my life every day. I cherish my girlfriend's unique qualities and the way she makes my life brighter with her presence. I love how my wife's support and compassion inspire me to be a better man. I appreciate the little things my girlfriend does to show her love and care for me. Every day, I am reminded of how lucky I am to have a woman that wants to join my lifestyle and follow my lead. Okay. If you tell yourself this stuff over and over again on repeat, 5 times in the morning, 5 times when you go to bed, or I talked about I have one of my clients doing the 3-6-9 technique where you do these affirmations 3 times in the morning, 6 times in the afternoon, 9 times at night, whatever technique you want to do. It's all work. They all work, right? It's that repetition and then getting in alignment with the emotion of the stuff that causes your subconscious to believe it. And when you believe it and you start really appreciating this stuff, now you're going to start focusing on all the good things that your wife does, all the good things that your girlfriend does. And if you notice more of the the good stuff that your girlfriend or wife does, and you appreciate that more, how do you think you're going to treat her? You're going to treat her nice, right? But if you're constantly annoyed by her whammonisms, you're going to treat her poorly. You're going to you're going to, be snarky with her. You're going to be, short with her. If she does anything, you're going to show annoyance with her. That's going to put her on edge. And then she's going to start hitting you back with it. And then you're going to be like, see, she's such a bitch, right? It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy, but it kind of goes with the golden rule, right? The golden rule, it's in the Bible, right? But basically you do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. Well, if you want your wife to treat you better, start treating her better. And if you are having a hard time with that, start working on this stuff. Start really focusing on the good stuff that she does and the joy she brings into your life. And you're going to start treating her better. You understand? Because we get what we focus on. So if you've been finding yourself focusing on your wife's negative qualities, you're going to treat her more negatively. Okay. It's just how we're wired, right? So the real goal here is to not really, hypnotize yourself into loving your wife, right? The goal here is to focus on her positive qualities. When you focus on the good, you're going to appreciate her more. If you appreciate her more, how do you think you're going to treat her? Right? That's the moral of the story here. Oh man, we got super chats today. All right, let's get to these super chats and then we'll talk about socials and stuff like that. Okay, so we'll do this. Okay, we'll split this up. So Brother Ed says Beer Club United. Yes, we have a beer club meetup tonight too. So if you guys have been thinking about joining beer club, tonight's a good night to do it because we're all hanging out at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Ed's a beer club brother. I'm going to bump him up to the bouncing tatas video.
Thank you for the super chats. Boobies bouncing, can't stop that. From the east to the west, you are the best. Keep those chats coming in, let's do it all again.
God bless electrical tape. Brother David said a $10 super chat. Looking forward to a special beer club hangout today. Yes, me too. I'm going to be a little bit late to that because I have a client call right at 7 p.m. Eastern time, but I'm going to show up to that, right after that's done. Since he's a beer club brother, he said a $10 super chat. I'm going to bump him up to the next level. We're going to get the $20 super chat with this one.
Super chat with Steve. Moving closer to the line. Thank you, you're the best. Party on, we never rest.
like, how does she even get those shorts on? You know, the shorts at the end there. Like, how do they even stay on like that? Like when you're putting your leg through, like, how do you not get like your foot caught in the little strings and stuff? I don't know. Anyway, these are questions. I got questions, guys. John, brother John, he's also a beer club brother. He says, have to show off the new video. Yes, I agree. So let's do that.
Thank you for the super chats. Movies bouncing, can't stop that. From the east to the west, you are the best. Keep those chats coming in, let's do it all again.
Nurse Chick's in the house. She says, happy hump day, gentlemen. Yes.
So naughty.
I'm gonna come.
Yes. Oh, Lord. Okay. Let's talk about social media. Guys, follow me on social media. The links are in the description. I'm on all the good platforms. If you guys haven't yet, get on the email list.comeonmanpod.com. Get the free ebook, She's Made You Weak. It's all about the betatization process and actually shows you how attraction erodes in a relationship over time. And a lot of it is the women's fault. We have to blame the women for that. But really, it's women are doing this at a subconscious level. And if you don't know what's happening, you don't know how to defend against the dark arts, you're going to end up in a situation where your wife just doesn't want to bang you anymore. And you're going to be like, what happened? We used to be all into this stuff. And then, guys, we are back with Woo Woo Wednesday. Check out my practical law of attraction course. There's basically 3 explanations for the law of attraction. You may have heard of the law of attraction if you ever watched the movie The Secret. But Paul, that's chick crack. Yeah, but it's fun chick crack. But here's the thing. There's 3 explanations for it. It really works, right? It's a real thing. But why does it work? There's 3 explanations. There's a spiritual one, like God, you know, the universe, all that kind of stuff. There's a quantum theory one where quantum science is now looking at various things. You have like, quantum field theory. There's a lot of different things involved with quantum science. When we talk about vibrations and how your vibrations interact with the outside world, that's all quantum theory type stuff. And then there's the simple psychological explanation, which I break down in my course, which really is, if you are thinking something, your thoughts create your actions create reactions, those reactions create your results in life. So if you change your thinking, you're going to change your actions are going to create better results for you. If you're not getting the results you want out of life, well, you got to fix this up here. That's what the course is all about. And because it's we're coming up on Black Friday. Hold on here. Because we're coming up on Black Friday, I decided to make a Black Friday sale with this. And so I'm offering it for 50% off until Friday night. So if you haven't taken the Practical Law of Attraction course, I'm dropping a link here. Let me play a commercial for that. And then you can click the link in the description and get that. Okay, and then we'll get back to the topic at hand. Are you struggling to find a good quality woman? They are very rare indeed these days. If you spend any time at all watching content in the men's podcast space, or you spend time on dating apps or going out to clubs, you're seeing low quality, promiscuous women. You're finding women with daddy issues and personality disorders, or a myriad of other red flags, and you are frustrated. I get it, brother, but what if I were to tell you that the reason why you're only seeing these types of women is because of your mindset, because of your paradigm. We get what we focus on in life, and you have trained your mind to focus on the type of women that you don't want. So those are the types of women that keep showing up for you again and again. Let's change that mindset today. If you're a guy looking to attract high quality, submissive women into your life, then I've got the perfect solution for you. And let me tell you, brother, it's all about mindset. That's right, you've got to reprogram your thinking to focus on the type of women you do want. That's where my Practical Law of Attraction course comes in. It's packed with proven psychology-based techniques that will help you manifest your dream woman. Trust me, you won't find this stuff anywhere else. Explained in such a simple, easy-to-use way. And let me tell you, when you start using these methods, you'll be amazed at how quickly things start changing for you. Picture this, you're out on the town, feeling confident and magnetic. All the women are drawn to you like moth to a flame. And best of all, you're attracting the type of women that are submissive and high quality. It's not that they weren't there before. that you weren't aware of them before. My course will teach you how to be more hyper aware of the kind of women that you actually want. It will teach you to believe that you're the most attractive man around. And when you believe it, you'll carry yourself that way. So what are you waiting for? Sign up for my course today. Visit loa.comeonmanpod.com. That's loa.comeonmanpod.com. Start living the life you've always dreamed of. Don't miss out on this opportunity to up your game and find the woman of your dreams. The law of attraction is nothing without action. So what are you waiting for? Act now. Act now. And then all the stuff that I teach you in that course, it can be used in every area of your life, not just with attracting new women or like what we're talking about today. You can use that to keep your woman, right? You can use it to program yourself to really focus on all of her good qualities so that you start appreciating her more. You can use the stuff in this book, right? Psychology Paradigm, to change your programming so that you have more of a dominant masculine presence so you can lead that relationship better. Right? You can there's all sorts of ways this helps you in your life. Basically, what I love about the whole concept of law of attraction is that it puts control of your life in your own hands, right? Life stops happening to you. You start making life happen for you when you realize that you actually can just script out how you want your life to be, right? All right, so let's talk about Hermetic principles and relationship dynamics, okay? There's basically 7 Hermetic laws of the universe. I've done quite a few episodes on them now. They all come from a book called The Kybalion, written by the 3 initiates. And the 3 initiates was really a guy named William Walter Atkinson. He was writing books around the turn of the century. He wrote another really good book called Thought Vibrations, or Law of Attraction in the Thought World. Very short read. Take you 2 hours to get through it. But I highly recommend both those books. And what he did with the Kybalion is he really distilled a very complex system of theology, basically, that came from ancient Egypt and the ancient Greeks, and they have this. They came up with this philosophy, and that's where we get a lot of our chemistry, a lot of our science, our astronomy, like all that kind of stuff. All that kind of stuff came out of like the Hermeticists, right? So what Atkinson did was he really tried to take a complex system and then break it down into 7 Hermetic principles. So it's very a lot of people, people that are true studies of Hermeticism don't like the Kybalion, but others really like it, because after they study it, then they go back and realize, man, he really did a good job distilling this stuff down, right? Making it simple and accessible to like the every person to understand it. So there's 7 principles here. So the first principle is the principle of mentalism, right? The universe is mental, right? The all is mind, the universe is mental. So the idea here is if you align your thoughts to create the reality of a loving relationship, you're going to have a more loving relationship, right? Right? But here's the thing. Here's the thing about all this stuff. You can't control other people. You can only control yourself and how you show up. You can't mentally mesmerize your wife into doing things that she doesn't want to do, right? Because everybody has free will, okay? But you'll find that if you change the way you show up in a relationship, if you set the tone and lead in a relationship, if you take care of your physical health and you go to the gym and you look better and you dress better and you treat her, with respect, but you use her hypergamous nature to your advantage, right? Which means she's got to see you as above her in some way. And you lead that relationship and you learn to speak assertively and with confidence, and you're a very decisive person, that she's going to follow your lead more, right? She's going to feel safe and secure in the relationship and trust your leadership so she can relax into her feminine. Then you create that polarity, that natural polarity that must be there for that attraction to stay for the long term. It's a constant work, right? It's constant work. So if you align your thoughts, you can create this reality of a loving relationship because you're going to be so much in alignment that it's going to cause you to act in certain ways, right? That you're going to be more attractive, right? So an example of this is to consistently visualize yourself as the ideal man in a happy relationship. Constantly tell yourself that you're her best hypergamous option, right? If you believe that you're her best hypergamous option, you're going to act like you're her best hypergamous option. She's going to, and you believe you're her best hypergamous option, she's going to believe it because you're going to carry yourself like you're her best hypergamous option, right? That's all these guys that get really focused on like, what if my wife's cheating? So then they really go down this rabbit hole of paranoia and they start checking her phone and checking her records and doing whatever guys do who think that their girl's cheating on them. And then it's like all that insecurity starts showing up in their actions and how they're showing up in that relationship. It tends to push women away, right? Like, because you're not being a confident man. That confidence is what creates attraction, right? All right. So the next principle here is the principle of correspondence, right? Correspondence in the Kybalion says, as above, so below, right? As below, so above. So your internal mental state reflects your external relationships, right? What's going on up here is going to change your actions, and your actions are how you're showing up, right? So if you change inside, your outside is going to reflect it. You understand? So what you could do is create internal harmony through gratitude and positive self-talk, right? We get what we focus on. Like I said, your mind doesn't understand the differences between positive and negative. So if you have all this negative self-talk or negative talk about your relationship in general, negative thoughts and talk about your wife, that's gonna show up with more negativity. So you gotta change all that. You gotta keep everything positive. You understand? Is this making sense? The woo-woo is strong today. Oh, I told you guys. I told you we're going full woo-woo. Okay. Let's see here. So that makes sense, right? Principle of correspondence. Guys, a lot of guys are in the beer club. They're all in the chat here. And like I mentioned, beer club is having a meetup tonight. It's sort of a extra meetup. Brother John, one of our beer club brothers, was feeling froggy, and he decided, hey, we should all get together right before Thanksgiving and all hang out. We normally do beer club hangouts on Thursdays because I don't have coaching calls typically. That's why I schedule them on those nights. And then also Nurse Chick doesn't come over on like every other Thursday. So I have no kids. I have no girlfriend at the house. It's much easier for me to focus on the guys. But John's like, nah, Wednesday's good for me. Like, all right, cool, man. Well, I'm going to be late, but definitely you can host that if you want. So Brother John's hosting tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern. Let me play a commercial for that. And then we'll talk a little bit about coaching. Then we'll finish up with the last concepts here.
Here's a harsh truth that everybody gets upset about online when I say it. They get upset because of their ego investment into the fairy tale idea of love and partnership. They get upset because of their ego investment into the idea that their woman is their best friend, their confidant, and they think that love will conquer all, and that their woman will be there through thick and thin. The truth is that as a man, your woman is hardwired biologically and psychologically to want you to be her rock. It doesn't work the other way around. Women do not care about your struggles as a man. They may think they care. They may even want to care. But her evolutionary DNA will not let her care. If you bring her your problems, she will lose attraction for you over time, and she will leave. Now, whenever I talk about this, people lose their minds and start talking about men unaliving themselves. The faster that men learn that women don't care about our struggles, the faster we'll save the lives of men. Men off themselves because of their own ego investments in the Disney fairy tale line. And when that fairy tale goes up in flames, they get zeroed out and they end things. Men do need a proper outlet for dealing with their problems, but going to their woman isn't the answer. Men need a tribe. They need a brotherhood. That's why I created my beer club. It's a monthly virtual hangout for men only. It's a place where men can be men. It's a place where men can talk about guy stuff without having to worry about offending women. It's a place where they can go without having to worry about being called toxically masculine. It's a place where they can go to solve their problems. Because men solve problems. Women cause problems, you dig? Visit beer.comeonmanpod.com. That's beer.comeonmanpod.com to sign up.
Yes, indeed. And then, guys, if you're having problems in your relationship, definitely book a free call with me. Go to call.fixdeadbedrooms.com. I had a coaching call yesterday with a guy, and one of the things that he wanted to talk about, besides what we normally talk about. So each week I have a schedule of what we're working on, right? And so, but he really wanted to address this because he's ready to go to Thanksgiving here tomorrow. And his big problem was that his wife and his mom don't really get along, right? They're not, it's not like they're fighting. It's not like they're outwardly insulting each other, but they both make little passive aggressive comments, and it puts everybody on edge, makes everyone feel uncomfortable. And if you guys, can you guys relate in the comments, like your wives and your wives and your moms just don't get along, right? Well, so he says that this happens every year, and his wife gets so up in a frenzy about it that, but before they even get to dinner, she's already mentally in her head about it. And it just ruins the experience. Right. And so he takes on the emotions of his wife, takes on the emotions of his mom, and he just feels like anxious and animosity, like through the whole night. And it's just uncomfortable. And it's just this big suck fest. Okay. It's not like there's a big knockdown, drag out fight or anything like that, but his wife just doesn't get along with his mom, and it just creates a lot of tension. So what I told him was, man, don't own your wife's emotions. Don't own your mom's emotions. Okay. They're going to feel how they're going to feel. Okay. You have no control over that. But what your wife really wants in this situation is to feel like you have her back. Right. And that's the thing is a lot of wives feel like their husbands are taking their mom's side because, you probably agree with your mom. Like your mom's probably right. Right. But your wife wants to feel like you have her back, right? You guys are supposed to be a united front, right? And so she just wants to feel that you have her back. So I told him, I go, look, just tell her it's okay that you don't get along with my mom. It's okay that you feel how you feel about my mom. Okay. Basically give her permission to feel how she's going to feel, right? Validate her feelings a little bit. Okay. And the thing is that, like, she's already going to feel like you have her back if you tell her it's okay. It's okay you don't like my mom, because she's going to feel like it's not okay, and that's going to create more tension, right? So just let her know, hey, it's okay, right? It's okay you don't like my mom. And if at any time during dinner you're feeling uneasy, you don't like what my mom's saying, I go, just come get me. Pull me to the side. Take me in the garage, where no one else is around, and just let me know what's going through your head. Like, what are you feeling? And don't try to solve the problem. Okay. There's no fixing the problem, but it's so hard for us men not to try to solve the problem. So what, you're going to go confront your mom now? You're going to, hey, you need to stop talking to her this way, because your mom's probably not really saying anything that bad, right? That's worth ruining dinner over, right? But your wife's just taking it wrong, right? So just listen to her. Just listen to her feelings, validate them, understand where she's coming from, understand her feelings. And then that's all she wants. She wants to feel like you have her back and feel like you understand how she's feeling. That's all she cares about. She doesn't want the problem solved. Women don't want problems solved, right? So just listen to her. And when she feels heard and understood, that's when the lake's open. Okay. So that's what I told him. And hopefully he applies that tomorrow and then has a very smooth Thanksgiving and everything's just chill. And his wife's just like, yeah, thank you for having my back. Thank you. Thank you for having my back. Yeah, no problem. I'm going to get drunk. All right. The principle of vibration. Okay. That's the next principle here. That states that everything vibrates, nothing rests, right? So emotional energy, love, appreciation, that creates high vibrations that attract positive outcomes in relationships. Think about it. If your wife's feeling love and appreciation for you, she's probably treating you pretty good, right? She's probably giving you the old hock tua, right? She's giving you the old slobbery, what they call a sloppy toppy, right? She's doing that kind of stuff because she loves and appreciates you. And the more she does all that kind of stuff, man, you love and appreciate her more. So that really just raises the vibrations of everyone in the room. Now, it's funny because, you know, we're in the red pill space. I'm in the red pill space. A lot of guys, Rolo especially, doesn't like the idea of energy. He's like, what does that even mean, energy? Well, just think about it, right? You know, when everyone's feeling like shit and there's a lot of animosity, you can feel that in the room. People don't even have to say anything. You can feel that. That's what we mean by energy, right? That's what the woo-woo people mean by energy. Like, you can feel when there's negativity in a room, right? Well, just as you can feel when there's negativity in the room, you can feel when there's positivity in the room. When everyone's feeling love and appreciation, you can feel that shit, okay? So is it actually vibrations, or are you just being perceptive to other people's emotions? It doesn't fucking matter. Okay, call it whatever you want, right? But there's this concept of everything vibrates, nothing rests, everything's moving, right? That's the law of vibration. And if you look at it from a quantum theory level, it's true. If you get down to the, to the atomic level, we're all just energy. We're all just atoms and neutrons and quarks and particles, and everything's moving, right? Nothing's really at rest. It just appears at rest. Okay. So then the theory of the vibration is that things are, this cup is vibrating at a certain frequency that makes it more solid, right? Okay. Is that true? I don't know. I'm not a fucking quantum scientist. Does it matter? No. Okay. But what you could do is practice daily gratitude to elevate your emotional vibrations, right? Think about things that you're grateful for, like the affirmations about being grateful for the nice things that your wife's doing for you. If you're focused on that, you're going to have more love and appreciation for her, right? You're going to raise your vibrations. It's funny too, because women really can sense when you're off, right? They can sense when you're having a bad day just because you're in a bad mood, right? The bad mood from your bad day is causing you to be in a more lower vibration. She's feeling that shit, right? Women are very perceptive to that. Okay. So you got, if you really want her to feel better, right? Because a lot of times when she thinks that you're feeling bad, she's going to take on those emotions, and then she's going to start feeling what you're feeling. And then she's going to want you to be more vulnerable, which is bullshit. Really what she wants is to have you articulate how she thinks you're feeling. That's a whole other episode, but but if you could just focus more on gratitude and positivity, you're going to raise those vibrations. She's not going to have to feel that, and then she's going to have more higher vibrations too. You understand this? That's how that works. Then we have the principle of polarity, which, we always talk about, right? Masculine and feminine, right? So everything is dual. Opposites are identical in nature, separating only by degree. So what I have here is transform negative emotions, right? Conflict and resentment into positive ones, understanding and love, by shifting your perspective. Okay. So yeah, we could look at the principle of polarity in a relationship with masculine and feminine energy, but you can also look at it from the idea that everything exists on a spectrum. So if you're looking at, you're dealing with a lot of conflict and resentment, if you're just focusing on its opposites, you can start transitioning more into more of an alignment with what's the positives that are happening, right? Start shifting your perspective on that. We call that in NLP reframing, right? Looking at something from a different perspective to change how you feel about it, right? So you can do that in your relationship too. If you're dealing with a lot of conflict and resentment, you can change your perspective and how you're looking at it. So, like, for instance, going back to the example of my client tomorrow dealing with this animosity, if he looks at it from a different angle, like, hey, I don't have to fix this problem, I just have to understand what she's going through, totally changes the viewpoint on the situation, right? Now it's not we're going into a battleground tomorrow. Now it's, all I have to do is listen to my wife. Like, this is easy, right? I just have to listen to her and shut the fuck up. Like, oh man, that's easy, right? It's not going to be such a hard day. Plus whiskey helps. So practical application, right? So during disagreements, instead of focusing on how mad you are at her or whatever, focus on shared goals rather than opposing viewpoints, right? What's the ultimate goal here? What are we trying to accomplish with this argument? Great way to deal with arguments is with the Luca approach, right? Luca's awesome for this because you can just listen to her viewpoints, get clarity on what she's talking about, and then come up with an action plan that is aligned with the mutual goals of the relationship, right? John says, give mom White Claws and hold her accountable. That's right. That's how you deal with that in the red pill space, right? You kick your mom off the podcast. The next concept here is the principle of rhythm, right? Everything flows out and in. Okay. So relationships have natural cycles, understanding these cycles to maintain emotional equilibrium. Okay. So you can understand that nothing's ever going to be perfect in a relationship. There's going to be ups and downs. Okay. So as long as you recognize that, just practice a little bit of patience during the low tides in the relationship. You'll know that things are going to get better again. Okay. So just have a little bit of patience and you're going to be okay because there's always ups and downs, right? So it's just expect it and you're going to be able to sort of ride those waves a little bit better. Okay. Frame helps with that sort of thing. Then we have the principle of cause and effect, right? Every cause has its effect. Every effect has its cause. So your direct actions and words have direct impacts on your relationships, do they not? Right? Think about that. Your actions and words have a direct impact on your relationship. If you say a bunch of negative shit to your wife, how do you think she's going to react to that? That's going to be a cause. Your negative words is going to cause a shitty reaction. You know what I mean? Right? Same in reverse, right? If she says something shitty to you, it could cause a negative reaction if you let it. Okay. But if you have good mental frame and you know how to handle shit tests and you know how to, be assertive and you know how to, do fogging techniques and all the kind of cool shit that we learn in the red pill space, like you can handle her negative shit storms at you, you can be unfazed by that. And then you being unfazed by that puts you in your, shows her that you're in your masculine energy. And then she respects that more, which makes her naturally relax in her feminine. Yeah. Cause and effect. Yeah. So what you could do is you can speak and act with intention, focusing on building trust and connection, right? That's one thing that you can do. We have the principle of gender, right? The principle of gender. So gender manifests on all planes unless you're a wokey. Then it's just a mental construct. Just kidding. Gender manifests on all planes, right? So masculine and feminine energies work in harmony to create balance in a relationship, right? So you want to really embrace your natural masculine energy. Okay. Get rid of all the bullshit ideas that being masculine is toxic somehow, because it's not. Okay. Develop your dominant masculine presence. Okay. Develop a mindset for having a dominant masculine presence. And you're going to show up more in your natural masculine energy in the relationship, more, as a leader, more decisiveness, more assertiveness, more boldness, all that kind of stuff. She's going to show up because she's going to reflect, she's going to naturally relax into her feminine. So she's going to be more receptive to that, right? She's going to be more, women hate this word, submissive, right? But she is. She's going to naturally relax into her feminine because she's going to trust your leadership more. Okay. And that is going to create that natural attraction in the relationship. And you guys are going to appreciate each other better. Okay. All right. So we hit all 7 of the Hermetic principles. So let's wrap up here by applying Hermetic wisdom to relationships. Okay. So we're going to integrate subconscious and universal laws. So you want to align subconscious affirmations with Hermetic principles for holistic relationship success. So for example, I align with universal love, attracting and maintaining a balanced and fulfilling relationship. That's an affirmation you can add to your list. You want to avoid common pitfalls, right? So you want to use Hermetic wisdom to sidestep mental traps like doubt and negativity. right? So you want to recognize rhythms in your relationship instead of reacting to temporary changes. Okay. You recognize that you might be at a low point. Okay. And actively recognize it, accept it for what it is, and then look at what you can do to show up differently. Okay. Even better though, okay, even better is instead of really just accepting the highs and lows of the relationship, realize that there's also this hermetic concept of the law of neutralization. The Kybalion talks about a sub principle under the law of rhythm that talks about the law of neutralization. Basically, this is where good mental frame comes into play. Okay. So if you work on your frame, having a strong frame, being unshakable during your wife's emotional storms, during the ups and downs of the relationship, all that kind of stuff, if you have good mental frame, it allows you to rise above the different ebbs and flows of the relationship, because you're always going to be on the same level, which is what she wants anyway, right? She wants a guy to be her rock, a guy that's steady, that can withstand the storms of life. Okay. The more you do that, the more you don't react so emotionally to problems and stuff like that, the more respect she's going to have for you. And the more respect she has for you, she's going to love you more. Yeah. And the reason why is because you won't be so emotionally impacted by factors outside of yourself. Okay. You will control your reactions and be able to respond to things better. And she's going to love the shit out of you for that. Right. So then we have some practical exercises and takeaways. Some daily practices to align your subconscious and the Hermetic principles, right? We talked about affirmations already. So morning affirmations aligned with the principles of mentalism, right? Fixing your brain, fixing your subconscious. Evening gratitude journal reflecting the principles of correspondence, right? It's the same kind of thing though, but if you have a gratitude journal, if you join the beer club and get into the gratitude subgroup, you can just do that with a video chat every day. Just think about all the things you're grateful for in life. And you'll find that the more grateful you are for the things you already have, the better your life seems to be, because you start recognizing what's already good, what's already good. And that Dr. Joseph Murphy, the author of The Power of the Subconscious Mind, he recommends treating some of this stuff like prayer, right? He did get ordained, I think, as a minister. I think he went to some kind of Jesuit school. But he ended up realizing that the Catholic Christian faith wasn't really his bag. So he left that and ended up going and becoming a psychologist, got a doctorate in psychology. And then he ended up getting reordained at a New Thought type church. But if you're a religious person, this might work for you. Okay. This might be a good thing for you. So treat some of this stuff like prayer. And he recommends doing some of these things with your wife, if she's on board with it, right? Like have some daily gratitude practice of each other. Just sit down with each other and tell each other like 5 things you're grateful for about each other. Can you imagine how strong your relationship will be if you guys both are focusing on being grateful for each other? Nurse Chick does this sort of thing with me. Like we don't do it together, but we both practice sort of gratitude for each other in our own ways. And one of the things she likes to do for me is every morning when she stays over, she gets my coffee ready for me. And I have a Keurig machine. So getting my coffee ready for me is like really not that big of a deal. But she leaves it open, puts a K-cup in there. She doesn't push it in all the way. And she just sets it in there and then gets a cup for me and puts it under. She has the water filled up for me. She has a sweet and low packet for me and a spoon, and then a little love note talking usually about what she appreciates about me. She does that every single morning. She's done that for the last 4 years. She is actively doing this sort of thing, right? One of the things that I do, I listen to nightly affirmations when I sleep, and some of my affirmations are about Nurse Chick, right? And how I appreciate her and all the things she does and how she adds value to my life and all that kind of stuff. Like we are both actively convincing ourselves how great the other person is. Like, can you imagine if you and your wife did this? You're both actively convincing each other on a daily basis of how great each other are. Like, you guys would love the shit out of each other, right? Like Nurse Chick and I, we've been together for 4 years now, have not even had a single spat, not a single one. And it's the first relationship in my life that I've never even had a little bit of a spat, right? But I've put so much work on myself that I don't need to have little spats with her. And she puts in equal amounts of work, so she doesn't have to spat with me either, right? We just get along. We bang each other's brains out. It's awesome. It's fucking awesome. But listen, if you want to do this kind of stuff and your wife doesn't, don't worry about it. Don't worry about what she's doing. Okay. Focus on you. You do it. Okay. Don't be like, well, she's not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. Fuck it. Right. And then, cause then that's just going to create more tension, right? There's no reason to do that. Just take ownership. You can't control what she's going to do. Just control what you could do. Okay. If you focus on this stuff, start working on this kind of stuff, start really focusing on the good things that she does for you. It doesn't matter if she's doing this stuff or not, because you're going to put off that kind of energy that she's going to appreciate, and she's just going to treat you better typically, right? Unless you're being such a fucking beta, right? Unless your appreciation of her is putting her on a pedestal somehow, because then you're using hypergamy against you. Like there's a lot of nuance with this, right? So that's why you got to also be working on your dominant masculine presence when you're doing this kind of stuff. You understand? All right. And then we have guided visualization to create a mental image of your ideal relationship. Okay. The more you focus on what you want ideally, but do it as if you already have it, the more it's going to just show up for you. Okay. Your subconscious is going to create that reality for you. It has to. It's universal law. All right. So to conclude here, your mind and the universe operate on the same principles. Okay. So harmony between them can create love and fulfillment for you. Okay. So by mastering these principles, you could attract and sustain a healthy relationship. And guys, if you want to really go into depth on this stuff, again, Black Friday sale, 50% off my Practical Law of Attraction course. I'll drop a link to that here in the chat again. Definitely get that. But other than that, that's all we got today. So tune into the podcast Friday. It is Frame Friday. This Friday, I will have an episode, and it will be live because I like doing lives. We are still going through Wraith's book on power frame identity, and we are up to chapter 8 now, which is all about frame and personal growth. So definitely tune into that. Other than that, guys, like, subscribe, hit those notifications, right? Smashing that like button's free. Apparently notifications don't really do anything anymore. I was looking at the analytics of that, and it's like, 300 people will get a notification, and like 2 people will click on, will actually go watch the show when they get a notification. So it's like, I don't know why YouTube moved to that model. It's stupid, but still hit those notifications, because apparently just subscribing doesn't mean anything. Thank you for everyone that started off in the chat today. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for the super chats. I know you, I think you guys like the new bouncing tatas video. It's a much better video. Follow me on social media. The links are in the description. Get the ebook, She's Made You Weak. Go to list.comeonmanpod.com. I mentioned my book, Psychology Paradigm, a few times. You can get that at books.comeonmanpod.com. Get the Practical Law of Attraction course. If you use code BlackFriday24 at checkout, you can get that for 50% off until Friday night at midnight for Black Friday. So go to loa.comeonmanpod.com for that. Join the beer club. We're having a meetup tonight. I'd love to see you guys on the video call. So if you guys have been thinking about joining beer club, go to beer.comeonmanpod.com. Join with the free trial. Join us tonight. If you guys like the group, you like the guys, stay in the group. It's only $10 a month. If you guys don't like it, cancel before you get charged. No problem. And then guys, if you need help with your relationship, definitely book a free call with me. Go to call.fixedadbedrooms.com. That's all I got. We'll see you guys on Friday. Have a happy Thanksgiving.
This has been the Come On Man podcast. Now, go out and get it.